Welcome to Getting Back Up, where grief meets growth.
Two men, two fathers, and one shared journey of rebuilding.
We're talking about life after cancer, love, loss, and everything no one tells you. Hey, I'm David McLean.
And I'm Jamal Jones.
And we welcome you to Getting Back Up, Finding Life After Death.
Yeah. We're kicking off. We're thankful. I think this is going to be a good time. I think we're going to take the time to pause and really listen and listen to feedback. Let you guys, our community, know we are always here. We hear you guys. We appreciate the constant, the DMs, the messages, all of the and even the personal text messages we get sometimes. Keep them coming.
Keep them coming.
But, I think in this part of the year, 'tis the season, right? We're thankful for our community. We're thankful for your comments. And I think this is a good place for us to kind of really let you guys hear some of the community's voices, the messages that we get. Sometimes, praises. We love those. And sometimes some interesting feedback and critique. But we got to take that, too, because you're the ones giving it to us. And we know you want us to improve and make this show better. So
right. So you can really hear what each of you are saying. Mm-hmm. So now we're kind of connecting you all together kind of in this way. So there are definitely some themes that came out. So that's the way I kind of thought about it. We kind of thought about it as we started to put some of this together. So I think one refrain, and we're very thankful that you all express, is that we're real approachable storytellers.
Yes.
And I think that's really, really important. So one person has said, and I'm just going to kind of read through it and kind of speak to some of them and say that one is, you guys have to keep this podcast going. You really complement each other, and I love listening to your stories. You guys have a gift. That's just really nice.
That one was a little bit of we got to put that one up front. That was that was a feel good one, right?
Yeah, sure.
That's the one. We love hearing that we got to keep this thing going, because there are times where we're like, how do we keep this thing going?
Yeah.
But no, I think it's like, I'm gonna pat ourselves on the back. Because this is not easy. It's not easy to stay motivated. It's not always easy to have the right topic and know we're going in. So we appreciate that. And I feel like that's the one thing. We bring our friendship to this. Right. And hopefully you feel that organic communication.
Right.
We generally have an idea of what we want to talk about and outline, but this is unscripted. So
and just bringing the energy and passion. We hope you all hear it, because that's how we approach each of these different episodes. So much so that another person had said, your episodes feel as if a great conversation between dudes that you know. You overhear them, what they're saying with energy and passion, and you find yourself sitting down with them to listen and contribute, because what it is they're discussing, it may resonate with you.
That's I think about that one, and that is our mission.
Yeah.
Right. That is what we intended this to be, which is everybody just being able to jump in, whether you are, somebody who's going through loss, somebody who knows somebody who's going through loss, somebody who's just coming across our podcast. Like, we want you to feel like you just happened upon a conversation between, two dudes, two guys just chopping it up. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's mission accomplished.
I think
right?
so.
That's
I mean,
the goal.
Right, for sure, because this is not uncommon. We're all going through this, men, women, and I think it's so important to keep that conversation and in the appropriate setting, having that discussion and just working some things out. Yeah.
That's it. This is real time. A lot of times we don't know what emotion's going to hit us.
Ooh, that's for sure.
We have an idea and we may have some things we want to, hit on and talk about, but this is, it's just flowing.
This is it. So David and Jamal, you have wonderful interviews. This is a much needed topic and is very necessary, especially since my mom lost my dad pretty young too. So, I mean, I think when we do this, that's what we want to elicit, is people to say, that's me. Yeah. And I'm glad people are talking about it. And we're glad that people are telling us that they're talking about it. And to hear what they're doing with it, I think would be tremendous also to hear.
I think the main thing for us is that you as the community, you as listeners, if you're watching us, like you feel like you're part of this
Absolutely.
journey, not necessarily and hopefully not actually going through the same thing that we went through, but if anything, you're able to identify with some element of emotion, some element of just, understanding kind of where we're coming from, but also understanding where somebody may be coming from, right? Your family, friend, or other. I think sometimes it's just being able to kind of place yourself in somebody's shoes,
Yeah.
or know that there's other people, and this is not to your point, this is unfortunately every day for a lot of people.
Yeah. And whether you refer people to our podcast and what we're doing or other resources, make it as approachable for them. And that's what we love to hear, is that whether it's our podcast or somebody else's or other resources, where it's not too high a wall to climb,
Right.
that person, I'm not going to deal with stuff. I'm not going to deal with it because it doesn't relate to me. Well, that's what we're trying to do here. And there are other podcasts and other resources doing that. So we hope that your folk are availing themselves.
Yeah. And some people don't want to, want to talk about it themselves.
Yeah.
So,
True.
It's great that sometimes we could be the voice for other people, and hopefully you're not like, saying like, oh, this guy's misrepresenting what I'm going through. No, hopefully you're saying, hey, like, oh, wow, that's another angle I didn't think about. Or I'm glad these guys are talking about it because I'm not comfortable yet. Or I know this other person's out there not really comfortable to do it. But
and that's why I want to thank Tonisha Cook.
Oh, yeah. We naming names now.
Yeah, well, Tonisha, she put it out there.
Thank you. Thank you, Tonisha.
Yeah, she said she loves this. Thanks for sharing your feelings and experiences. We'll keep doing it. And thank you for your comments and just your lovely, thoughtful message back to us. So we'll keep doing it. We're just staying everyday men.
Listen, us men, we have feelings. It's stuffed down most of the time, but we have feelings. And we may not always be ready to talk about it, or sometimes we don't have the words. As I say to my therapist when I have my sessions, I can't find the right words, and my counselors usually like, take your time. Yeah, take your time. It usually takes us a lot of time to figure out those words, right? But when we have those words, for all my fellas out there, when you have those words and you have those experiences, it's true. Take your time, understand what it is. And, hopefully you find a good place to let it out. So, yeah, for sure. Then I think also this idea of we really are just everyday dudes, just everyday men, and making honest connections as much as we can. Here's one comment from Herbie C2. He says, David and Jamal, I want to thank you gentlemen for transparency, authenticity, and professionalism through this caring work. It's phenomenally encouraging and enlivening. I wanted to make you aware that I share the podcast with a church ministry that deals with grief as well. I hope all the best for you and your families as you, in a great way, bless and minister to those journeying through grief. That's wonderful. If it can be used in a practical and a ministerial and a sense of spirituality and faith, that's great too. Whether it can go to that kind of corner or just everyday folk who don't have a sense of, oh, I believe in this or that. Yeah. Again, we're just trying to keep this common for everybody. I feel blessed that we can be, tied to blessings. Yeah. Right. Like that our message, our story, our community can identify what we're talking about and also look at it and say, wow, there's a story, there's a Bible verse maybe, right? Or some spiritual element that can connect to what we're talking about. Like that's winning. Like that's, for me, is what we wanted to do. And for a lot of men, right, it's also being able to find those safe spaces. So whether it's in a ministry, whether it's in some community group, being able to kind of go back and say, well, I can relate these conversations with this group to this conversation that we're having here on our show, right? That is an accomplishment. Yeah. So
if brothers and men, period. When we say brothers, we're just talking about men. We're just talking about that fraternity of men. Yeah. That's what we're talking about when we say brothers, really. So whatever it is and how you guys get together, barbershop, somebody's house watching the game. There's some other time that you all just have social time together where you're connecting, and you can talk about whatever interesting film, movie, whatever it is, and then you're talking about, hey man, I'm dealing with this.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. So a listener in Atlanta said, where we just came back from, you look for that episode, collection. When you guys are talking about what the F I'm gonna do now, I can't help think of all the single moms for whom that is a constant struggle. The what will I do when? In every situation, in every milestone, the daily unpredictability of life, and no partner to split that burden with.
Mm-hmm.
And then the irony that millions of women do life as a single parent, but people freak out at the idea of a single parent being a dad. Hey man, we've been living this, right?
We talked about that one, right? Like the mom dad or the dad mom, right? Like that dynamic of that insecurity, that sensitivity that we felt, that a lot of men are out there feeling. And yes, a lot of women have dealt with that. You know, it's more prevalent in communities than single dads.
Right.
But it's the reality that there are single dads out there. And we have those oh crap moments, just like, you know, the women who've done this before.
Yeah.
Who have been doing this, and it doesn't take away from there, but it does bring reality that there's fathers out there, and you know the same stigma that women live with, the fathers do, and in many cases, I hate to say it, but there's less faith in the men.
we talked about
that, right?
For sure.
Less faith in the men that we could do this, that we can manage it. Yeah. But like at the end of the day, it's a struggle, and that we all go. You know, unfortunately, that a lot of women go through. Unfortunately, a lot of men go through.
Yeah.
And that's. I mean, you still need that community of people to help. No matter what.
I'm a product of that myself, in the sense of my mom divorced, then she was holding it down.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore she was doing it, and she wasn't looking for applause and rewards and awards and all that. I mean, she just, I'm just trying to raise my cubs, man. I'm just trying to make sure they're not singed by the world and everything that's going on.
Listen, at the end of the day, we just want those cards from the kids, right? We want everybody to appreciate like what we dealing with, single moms, single dads. But the biggest thank you is the cards from the kids.
Oh yeah,
those are the ones that like hit. You know, punch you in the stomach when you don't realize, like, ooh, I felt that was, but it's needed.
Yeah.
So,
And with every one of those moments, guys, when you're out and you're with your kids, your single dad doing your parenting, and you think folk are thinking, oh, it must be his weekend. Man, don't worry about it, because the rewards are those representation, the embodiment of what you were trying to do. Those children, they're gonna be fine, man, and you are too. And there's so much more that is meaningful, that time that you're gonna spend with them, because it comes later, man. It's cumulative, baby.
I like that.
It all comes later.
I like that. So, it's your weekend. It's your weekend every weekend.
Right, exactly. Right. Trip said, dude, you got me crying on the car way to get a haircut. I really admire you on how you talk about who your wives were. Hey, I'm thankful fellas can just feel that way, that they could be driving just down the highway, down the street, listening to us, tears coming. Come on, man. Listen, I love that.
I got a couple of those texts too.
You did?
A couple friends hit me with that same one. And it's good, man. It's good that we all can at least admit, man, woman, I feel like you are way more comfortable for sure at saying you broke tears. But for us to reach out to each other and text each other, or you know, hit us with a DM and say, you guys had me crying, like that's vulnerable right there. You ain't got to tell me what other feelings were tied to that. The fact that you sent that was a thank you. Like that we're doing, that means we're doing what we're supposed to do.
Along those lines, I mean, this is probably not along those lines, but I want to say this here is, man, because women are able to do that much better than we are, to let those emotions.
Yeah.
And then they can get together to go have brunch or lunch
Right.
and let out those emotions
Yeah.
in public like that.
Yes, yeah.
And we as men, we really struggle with
No,
that.
we can't. Yeah,
and then,
yeah.
as I joke to you, they'll travel internationally to
Yes.
go talk about some of this stuff together. And that's so empowering. So,
Yeah.
man, we got to look at a widower retreat. We may have to think about
Yeah,
something like
something.
that. So anyway,
Something,
I'm just
yeah.
kind of putting that
Yep.
that out there. And then Sunday said, I'm still processing the part 1 with Melody Rollins Downs.
Oh, yeah,
man,
our first interview.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
she killed it.
Melody.
Yeah.
We got a lot of feedback
Yeah.
from what Melody presented. She
Yeah.
she was fabulous, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
What a powerful and deeply beautiful exchange. The vulnerability is humbling. Melody is an amazing storyteller. You and Jamal are nurturing a sacred space. Man,
Yeah, we
it's
appreciate
it's
that.
true. Melody was
That was tough
fabulous.
for us. I mean, that was our
Yeah.
first time stepping into opening that doorway, kind of inviting somebody
Yeah.
else into our space and being able to, or, just being able to continue to let her have that
Yeah.
conversation and let her lead that conversation.
Yeah.
And just it was one for me. I mean, you know Melody personally.
Yeah.
So you know a lot more of that story. And I don't know how much of that was new to you, but I'm sure for me, it was like the whole story was new. Man, I just wanted to sit back and
Yeah.
just listen, but that's what we want to do here. We want to invite other people
Yeah.
into this space to talk about what they're feeling, to be part of this journey for
Yeah.
so that everybody can hear. Like, hey, listen, this is a lot of us navigating
Yeah.
these challenges.
and it definitely hit and resonated with men and women on that.
Yeah.
Men who were going through it, ex-military, the way Melody's husband was, and just, oh man, let me get these push-ups and these supplements, I'll be all right. I'm sure men heard it that way, and they're women
some
in their
Tussin.
lives. Just right. Yeah, just rub some Tussin on it. Robitussin, folks. Just we lost some of our audience maybe with that. So anyway, but
That's old school Chris Rock.
old school, yeah, absolutely. And so I think we want to continue to do more of that for sure.
Yeah.
And just bring in more of the different voices who represent the diaspora of us. And I don't just mean people of our tribe.
Oh,
I'm talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
those of us dealing with loss. That's
Yes.
what I mean.
Yep.
That's what I mean. Lori said,
Another
Yeah.
Melody one.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I listened to your episodes at 5:00 in the morning while making my coffee. This one, Melody's part 2, had me on the edge of my seat. Mine too. Such a terrible battle. It's really good to hear what it's really like for the family. No one should have to go through this.
So I have two things
Yep.
here. One, thank you for letting us be part of your morning routine, because I know how hard it is,
Woo,
especially if you have kids in the morning and you trying to get them going. But thank you. But two, I think that's the one thing I always say is, and I've said that from the first day that I've had to start my journey with Janice, and then even my journey beyond Janice was exactly that. Like, I wish that no one had to go through this. Like, there's a part of it where you want to feel like I am the martyr for this thing,
There will
for
be
this
no
journey
others after me.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
you want there to be nobody else that has to go through this. But the unfortunate reality is, at least for loss of life, for sure, somebody else will be unfortunately endure that. But just in any loss, right? I think it's not relegated to just losing a spouse, to losing a life. It's all type of different type of loss and struggle. But
Yeah. And to start the day kind of heavy, and I think that's why we try to balance what we say, because things are better received. The packaging is better received when there's some humor attached to it, because we've got to laugh at the end of the day on some of this, or else we'll shrivel up in a ball otherwise with the idea of loss, whatever that is.
Exactly. Yep.
Denise said in episode 10, so when the calls stopped coming, it was good. It included good information and was also entertaining, as you gave a shout out to the Jacksons.
Oh, yeah.
Our executive producer, Marlon
Yeah,
Jackson, and
Yep.
his family, and you all know how I feel about them and their role in my life and my children's lives and Nalani's lives. I said it out loud too. Denise was saying that it's almost like Nalani knew that they would be the best godparents.
Yeah.
So it's encouraging this idea of your universe, you gather such power, strength, replenishment from your universe.
Yeah.
And the example of the Jacksons, and you have your examples in your world too of, man, we wouldn't have been able to get to this point without these people in our universe. No question.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the important part. Like your community of support, that was something for both of us that was a constant of, and it wasn't always the same people in every single day,
right? But
it was definitely the representation of the community. And that's the important part of being able to talk through this, being able to kind of open up, finding even the most reasonable way to open up to everybody about what you're going through, what you need, even if it's, just letting somebody, who's offering to go get you dinner, get you something, just do it. Let them do it. Right. You may not want to, you may think, no, I got this, but just let them do it. Right. And they feel better. You feel like, okay, I can relieve this stress about this tiny thing, but it's there. Right? Yeah. So, but no, I think that's important. One, it's also us being able to, like, part of this is you just have to find ways to give the shout out to people who they're helping you. So
because you're gonna need it now, you're gonna need it later.
Yeah.
So start that trend of those folk helping you in that way. I think the kind of other topic, and just kind of broad area, we got into some sensitive comments.
Yeah, we touched the nerves. We did. We touched the nerves,
and you should. This. Your feelings are peeled back at this time anyway, and then you put it all back together, and there's some scars, and maybe the stitching isn't real clean, putting it all back together. So we heard some things, man.
Yeah, we got some feedback. We said when one was, TK, are you guys only going to talk about losing a spouse? Because there's a lot of us out here who lost a spouse to divorce.
Yeah.
And, that's still loss.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right.
Yes.
And I will say I could stand on here on this show and talk and say what I want to say.
Yeah.
About our late wives. We can say what we want to say.
Yeah.
Good and bad.
Yeah.
It's harder to say what you want to say about your previous spouse when they're still here. And, we could talk about divorce, and divorce is not always clean. But no, we want to cover that, right? We want to get to that point. That's why we're starting to open up, some new conversations around other ways of loss. But listen, that was early feedback. And I think the other part of it was early on, as we went through this, as we started this journey, we realized, we're going to have to evolve these discussions, right? Because loss isn't just our loss, right? It's other forms of loss. So,
right. And when, especially, we really are talking about that moving forward with loss that's still alive, and are representatives of what one used to have, or how one was kind of defined or identified as married man or married woman. Now it's something different. Now you're not getting invited to those same things. Right. The friends are a little different.
Oh, yeah.
Were the friends part of the divorce decree that you get half of these friends?
Yeah.
We talked about it.
Yeah.
And some of our people are coming back to us and also wanting to talk about that. Because then we also see, who are these people now after divorce?
Right.
The people we thought we knew as a married couple, wait a minute. So much more is coming out. And there are a couple of different stories here.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle, the truth lies.
Right.
But the rest is, some of it's perception. Yeah. Some of it just proves itself. The evidence is right there in front of you. So that is a tough one to talk about, is not only who these people become after divorce as they treat one another, but how do they move forward in time and marking a period of, are they different?
Right.
Have they learned?
Has the community that they were part of started treating them different individually? Right. Because the community knew them as a union, and that goes into other feedback that we've talked about, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, which we got some stuff there.
Yeah.
We got to figure that one out.
Yeah.
So the one thing about loss too is when we have had people whose wives, spouses, partners have survived. And a couple of people I can think about, and it's so kind of composite of a couple of people, said that illness changed me as a man and my spouse. And the physical changes happen with your, let's talk about women in particular, whether there's the mastectomies or removing uterus, whatever that may be, what they were, hair loss.
Yeah.
They're defined, and femininity is defined by those attributes.
And we'll talk about it too, right, in our upcoming interview with at Clark Atlanta, where we met with men who battled and navigated and survived prostate cancer.
Right.
And they too went through
right.
these changes, the impacts of the surgery or the treatment, right, so to speak, that they're navigating life after, right?
Right. And who are they?
And who are they?
How virile
and their concerns about their, the concerns that they have that their partners, right, will still look at them the same way or differently.
Right. Will they stay with me?
Yeah.
Will they leave?
Yeah.
Those kinds of questions. This is real.
Yeah.
And it comes up. And it also relates to now that she is different, well, I'm different. I'm still moving forward, and she's still trying to define who she is as a female, and us to think about that in these situations. This is what we're hearing about.
This is loss, right? So we've got to touch on that, right? And we will, right? Which is good. We will. We're opening up there's a lot of these things, a lot of these topics that we ourselves haven't necessarily thought of or presented in how we talk to you and how we talk to each other in our regular conversations or on a show, but they're being brought to us in these conversations, in these interviews, from your feedback directly. So,
and we want to go deeper into those and bring those resources, or people just living life with these certain conditions and context in their relationships. Another one, not only did she almost die from treatment, I think our marriage withered away.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. Where do you start when you're at this point? But then it's also looking back, well, where were our missteps that we weren't strong enough to continue with sickness and health, death do us part. You can remove the death do us part piece. Yeah. Now we're talking about sickness and health. So that's a reality too.
It's a test, right? I mean, I talked about that in my own dynamic, which was, in some cases, I felt like the battle made me and our marriage stronger, better. In some cases, it didn't, right? Yeah. So it's like, where were we before? Where were we after? And likewise, there's a lot of couples, a lot of relationships who survived cancer.
Right.
But did they survive cancer? Right. Or whatever battle they went through.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think
it was difficult with the illness.
Right.
It adds another level of complexity to the difficult marriage we already had and what we were putting together to move forward. Did we have all of the necessary tools to do that even before these diagnoses came up? And then from one gentleman, had therapy for years, got it as far as it could go. I don't talk to other men about it. I guess I'm stuck in my cycle. Yeah. That's a tough place to be.
Yeah. Again, we got to talk about it, right? Like you can't go through this battle alone.
Right.
Right. When I say that, you're with a person, you're with a partner. So you're not necessarily alone, but there's so much I know that I did not share with Janice while she was in her battle. Like emotions, thoughts, feelings. I had to maintain my strength and my appearance that I was holding the whole family together, right? Through this journey. But there's a lot of men out there, and we need to find that space, and women too. You need to find that space to actually talk to somebody, again, counselor, therapist, family, loved one, whoever, around what it is that I'm feeling, what it is that you're feeling. And I think if we stuff that down, that's not going to help the relationships that you have. It's not going to help your relationship with your partner. or your friends and family who are there to support you, like you got to find that space.
And if it's not addressed, you're in the same place,
Yeah.
if not worse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's not a place to be. And so I think that's why it's so important for us to have these conversations.
Yeah.
We got to speak to
Yeah.
one another, and we want to move forward together
Mm-hmm.
and live as full a life as we possibly can.
Yep.
And with that openness to a degree that makes sense,
Yeah.
incrementally or whatever, try it.
Yeah.
What's it going to hurt?
Yeah.
So then this other area, go
Yeah,
ahead.
this is interesting. I mean, this one we've talked about, right? The identity, and just kind of rewinding a little bit to we just touched on, like, family members or couples who are divorced. This is just in general, right? When people are used to seeing you as a couple with somebody, and they're used to that identity of this person is married, when they're used to, the union, and the union is no longer there, whether it's through death or through divorce or just early on in life breakups, right?
Yeah.
It's hard for family to move forward, right? So they don't understand what your moving process is, and I think I see a lot of feedback, or we've gotten a lot of feedback around people like, don't you think you should, the person, you should have more sensitivity to, how your family's going to feel when you move forward. There's sensitivity to it. And I've gotten a lot of, feedback and messages around, or we have gotten a lot of feedback and messages around, oh, well, my kids or my nieces and nephews don't want to meet my new partner, or they don't want to call her auntie, or
Right.
they don't want a replacement. Like, well, nobody's trying. This is a brand new person.
Don't bring her to Thanksgiving.
Don't bring it to, especially in the spirit of Thanksgiving and holidays, right? You can't even bring your partner to the, without, your new partner to the holiday festivities. And that's hard, right? For somebody who's previously divorced, or somebody who's got who's a widower or a widow, going through that and navigating that dynamic, like, you're just trying to, like, take one step forward.
Yeah.
Right. Like, sorry, I have to say, like, family, friends, significant, others, nieces, nephews, like, you gotta let that past go. If they've figured out that it's time for them to move forward, trust that if they are bold enough to bring this person to Thanksgiving or Christmas,
It's a statement.
It's a statement. They thought about this for a long time.
Yeah, and also it's part of the approval tour
It's part of the approval tour
as well.
Yeah.
So they've got to make this cut.
Yeah.
And fit in and say the right stuff, and
yeah.
can I help with that? And just
Exactly.
the home training, all these things that keep people around.
If they just sit if they just sit on the couch or at the edge of the table with their plate of food, and they don't ask to lift the dish or help, or then
big strike.
that's a big strike.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just be comfortable. For those of you taking that next step and bringing that family member, bringing that new person in your life into your community, trust yourself and give your family and your friends a little forgiveness, because they're still used to the old brand, the old identity. But for those who are family, friends, and you're bracing, you're about to meet this new person, I guarantee that, this day has been thought about way more than you have thought about it. And I say that with all sincerity, because I know when I had to when I went through the same, that part of my life, and decided to, bring Jordan into the holidays and meet the family and meet the friends, like, even meeting the kids, like, it was done with a lot of thought. And, so.
I know she jumped up. Can I wash those dishes?
Listen, Jordan was
whatever
on
it is.
She was on the A game.
I know she
was on the A game.
Oh, I'm sure she was. I'm sure she was.
Listen, she's hit 5 years and we good.
Yeah.
So.
All right, man. We're gonna round it out now, aren't we?
Then we got a few, we got a few good ones. When you talk about moving forward and dating, it sounds like you didn't like your late wives.
Keep going.
Or that you have an unrealistic bar for your future partners.
Can we pause on that?
We could pause on that one a little bit. That one was an intro. I remember reading that one and thinking, that's really, like, no.
No, I mean, look, we bring the best representation of ourselves into these different relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
We try to eat well, take good care of ourselves. It's not about vanity as it's an indication of good health and maintenance and thinking about the future survival, since we've been through battles of survival.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I think you have to. So the way I think about it, right? We have to look at our relationships.
Yeah.
Our past relationships. And this is through death, through divorce, through breakup, whatever phase you step into a new relationship. At least we should, as men, be thinking, what did I do wrong? What did I do right? What could I have done better?
Exactly.
Right? Like, so thinking about it in the context of the whole, and also looking at it and saying, well, you know what? These are the things now in this new phase of my life, what I call my second half, right? Because I'm 50 now. So when I got to that point of in my second half, I've got to do it better. I've got to be better.
That's right.
It's also me saying, what are the things and the qualities and the things that I would want also in a woman? So it's not to say that I didn't like qualities or like my late wife, but it's also recognizing that I didn't have a great marriage. So I have to be, and it was my fault and her fault, right? So I've got to be willing to look at that. But it was also saying, man, like I just went through a battle with that was health related.
Right.
And I myself have to make sure as best as I can control
as much you can control. Yeah.
I'm living the best and most healthy possible life within reason that I can.
You're an example.
And likewise, and I want my children to see that.
Exactly.
And I also want my future partner, wife, to also be thinking about the same thing, right? So it's not saying that I didn't like or love my late wife.
Yeah.
It wasn't saying that she's not a good person, but it was also saying, man, like, how can, in my next relationship, in my next potential union, we're ready for this, for this war against the rest of life.
If these things are in place, therefore you don't have to undo what is challenging coming in.
Yeah.
It's you're prepared for, okay, and especially in my situation, thinking of companion.
You're in it now,
leading to something greater, if that's to be. I'm preparing myself for moving forward. So I'm doing all these different things. And you for you all who watched past episode, the 4 F's that I had, the fine, fit, financial, and funny. I mean, I'm trying to bring that to the situation.
Right.
Because in a broader sense, and it's what my late wife was about. That's why I was with her.
And I think that's a relatively short list.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be very, listen, I'm going to call it a
You're right.
I've seen and talked to women and heard the lists.
Oh, boy.
Of qualifications, requirements, and things. And sometimes I'm like, that's a long, very specific list. So why can't men have a list? We can have a list.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we can have things that we desire out of a partner.
And nobody's going to be perfect about it, but they have to understand they will get to the best they possibly can be. But if you're starting from a place where it's all these things about health concerns creep in because you haven't done that preparation, especially at this point in our lives.
Right.
Hey, man.
Or I don't know. We have, it's legitimate, and going through what you have gone through with a partner, if you've battled a disease or battled sickness, whether you've got through it or not, like even if you are still in your relationship, like you want a change. Yeah. You want collectively to be saying, hey, if we just weathered this health storm, this health scare, let's both start eating healthy. Yeah. Let's start thinking about these life changes
which should have individually already happened with that person that you're with, that you meet up. Because then also look forward, it's you don't want your mobility sacrifice. You want to be able to take these different trips, not limited by health conditions, whether they're self-induced. We can control what we can control. So that's what I'm talking about. We have been talking about. So if you want to take that trip to Paris or wherever, Africa, different African countries. Go on safari, do a lot of walking in Egypt. If you want to go to Istanbul, whatever it is, and you just want to ensure you have the best quality life you possibly can, and that starts in advance. So I think the question was about not liking our wives, our
not
late
liking
wives,
and have an unrealistic, bar. And,
So
I have a bar.
Yeah, we all should.
We all should. Have a bar.
So give me this next one.
The next one is. This one is a good one. We talked a little about how long are you guys going to grieve for your wives? It sounds like you haven't gotten over them yet. That one is an interesting one because we've talked about it, and a lot of people talk about it. And when we had Kelly on, she talked about the complexity of the grieving process, and it doesn't end. Right? Like you're always going to remember. You're always going to have recollection. There's always going to be again. Trigger, we say trigger as if it's negative. Triggers aren't necessarily negative, positive. Trigger could be like, oh, that reminded me of this.
Memorable moments,
right? Like, I mean, scrolling the other day, I was literally scrolling through Google my photos, looking for pictures of the kids, and I'm scrolling through, of course, if I go back, I'm seeing pictures of Janice. It triggers a memory. It doesn't trigger.
It's a reminder.
It's a reminder. Right? So, I mean, I think when we talk about how long are we grieving for our wives, I think there's healthy grief and there's unhealthy grief. I think there's healthy remembrance and there's unhealthy remembrance.
Yeah, sure.
Right? And this is somebody, or these are people who have been a part of your life for dozens of years in some cases. Right? There's no eraser, right? There's no eraser to say that the grief ends, the deep grief ends, the deep pain may end, but the sadness is still there. You're still sad that this person is gone. Right. Like my grandfather died almost 30 years, 20 something, almost 30 years ago. I'm still sad, right? I get through Christmas, and we talked about it when we talked about the holiday, coming to the holidays. I see my kids playing. I'm like, man, I wish I wish they met my grandfather.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's still grief.
And also for Janice and Nalani, our late wives, is, man, I wish the girls could see their mom at this moment, this Christmas morning, or just this period of the holidays. I wish they were there, and whether they're wearing the same pajamas or whatever the tradition is, or complaining about the certain food, or that why do I have to eat these collard greens, whatever it is, because collard greens are really actually very good, but
and very healthy,
as well. Yes. But it's that remembrance that has a endpoint. Yeah, this memory stops here because that person is not here. For these children, offspring of ours, that we produced at a time when we were together in our union, and thinking positively about the future moving forward, and that ceases. And also, this sense of still grieving for our wives is, we have learned a process to move past, not to forget, because that's not healing, remember? Yeah. But then it's also because loss is going to happen again. Yeah. At some point in our lives. Father Time is undefeated. Yeah. And we're going to have to go through this process yet again. Now we have a better sense of those feelings are going to come. These things are healthy to have certain emotions, and the stages of grieving or loss. Yeah. It's not a linear deal. It's going to feel a little of this, denial and anger and acceptance. You're going to vacillate between all these different stages. Yeah. So it's preparation for what is inevitable, that loss will happen again.
And why are we here? We're using our experience.
Exactly.
Again, right? Our grief, our loss, we use that as the doorway to start helping our community in different ways. Right. And part of that is reflecting on what we went through, reflecting on what we're still navigating in some cases. Right. But, I don't think it's like there's no final, finality, so to speak, to it. Yeah. But you're right. Like, it's a process and it's continuing. And I think that leads us to why and how we're moving into these next phases of our show, which is opening up new conversations, new different discussions about loss, new, navigating different elements, different challenges that men in particular have, talking about the things that we need to probably be more vulnerable about, the things that we should have more open conversations and dialogues with our friends, family, and particularly each other as brothers.
Yeah, for sure. Because we're all going to deal with some of this.
Yeah.
If we're all kind of talking about it, then it's a healthy discussion about moving forward, not staying in the same place.
Yeah, we're hoping that you guys are having the same type of conversations that we are. We're hoping that this is making it a little bit more easy for you to do that.
Yeah. Let us know about it.
Let us know. Yeah. So thank you again for all your feedback, all your comments. Continue to send them our way through all of our social spaces, the Get Back Up podcast, and also hit us on our phone number, 646-979-0878. And we'll be here. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us on Getting Back Up, Finding Life After Death. If something in today's episode spoke to you, pass it on, because somebody out there needs to hear this.
For sure. We're on all the social mausoleums, so follow us on Instagram, Threads, TikTok. Mostly it will be in the form of Get Back Up Podcast.
And be sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcast.
And remember, getting knocked down is part of life.
But getting back up is how we live.
We'll see y'all next time.